Hello everyone. Today we learn a new chapter that is a treat for mosquitoes. It is your 8th chapter. Okay. So in this chapter you will study about what is a malarial disease, how malarial disease is caused, and what are the preventive measures taken for the malarial disease, and also you will study about the anemia. So first we'll study about this malarial disease. There was a boy called as Rajat. He was studying in 5th standard, okay? And Rajat was absent for school since many days. And when he came back to school, all his friends were happy to see him. And one of his friends, Aarti, she asked Rajat, "How are you now?" "I'm all right," Rajat replied softly. Then Jaskirat, she said, "You must have played a lot while you were at home." Rajat replied, "Who wants to play when you have a fever? On top of it, I had to take a bitter medicine. I even had a blood test done." So Rajat says that, like, who wants to play whenever we fall sick? Okay, even you might have experience. Whenever you have fallen sick, you also do not want to go out and play. You just want to take rest. You just want to sleep and take some rest. Even the Rajat did not want to go out and play, and top of it, he had to take that bitter medicines, okay? And even he had done a blood test. Then Jaskirat, when she heard about blood test, she said, "Blood test? Why? It must have been very painful." She says, "Oh my god, you have done a blood test? But why you did a blood test? I think it must be very painful now." Then Rajat said, "Actually, when the needle pricked my finger, it felt like an ant bite. They took 2 to 3 drops of blood and sent it for testing. And that's how we came to know that I had a malaria." Okay, so he said that no, it was not that painful, it was just like an bite of an ant. Okay, when the needle it pricked my finger, it felt like a bite of an ant, and they took about only 2 to 3 drops of blood, and that blood it was sent to the laboratory for testing. And when the report came, we came to know that the Rajat had malaria. Okay, then her friend Nancy says, "But you get malaria when a mosquito bites you." Rajat said, "Yes, but we find out by the blood test." Okay, so you get malaria by the bites of the mosquito. Remember this, malaria, we get a malaria by the bite of the mosquitoes. Okay, and if you want to find out if you have a malaria or not, you have to do blood test. Then Jaskirat says, "There are a lot of mosquitoes in my house these days, but I did not get malaria." Yes, I think you must also have this kind of confusion in your mind. Like many a times, mosquito might have bitten you, but you still did not get malaria. So why it is that? So Nancy replies to our question like saying, "Who says that every mosquito bite causes malaria? Malaria spreads only by the disease carrying mosquitoes." Okay, so malaria is not caused by all the kind of mosquitoes, but it spreads only by the disease carrying mosquitoes. Then Aarti says, "All mosquitoes look same to me. Are there different types of mosquitoes also? They all look same to me." Then Rajat says, "There must be some difference." Okay, there is some difference between the mosquitoes. Then Nancy says, "Did they take the blood from the place where the mosquito had bitten you?" Then Rajat replied to that, "Of course not. How do I know when and where the mosquito bit me?" Yes, it is not necessary to take the blood from the place where mosquito has bitten you. Okay, most of the time the blood is taken from the fingers. Okay, the fingertip. So you no need to take the blood from the place where mosquito had bitten you. Then how is malaria caused? Malaria is caused by a parasite called as an plasmodium. Okay, malaria is caused by a parasite called plasmodium, and this disease spreads to the bite of female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, malaria, it is caused by a parasite called as a plasmodium. Okay, it is caused by plasmodium, and this malaria, it spreads by the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito. And malaria, it is an fatal disease of human beings, and it is caused by an protozoan parasite plasmodium, and this disease spreads to the bite of an insect vector, the female Anopheles mosquito. Now, blood test. The report of the blood test helps to know whether the patient has a malaria or not. So, how do you find out if you have a malaria or not? For that, you need to do an blood test. And blood test helps us to know whether the patient or the individual has an malaria or not. Then what are the symptoms of malaria? So what happens, what are the changes you observe when you get malaria? So what happens, you feel very cold and you starts to shiver. Okay, feeling very cold and shivering. And second symptoms is very high fever, high respiration, and you will have high heartbeat. Okay, and third, starts to sweating. And fourthly, a patient becomes very weak and he becomes anemic. Okay, so these are the symptoms of malaria. Then now we'll study how we can uh, prevent the malarial disease. What are the steps taken to prevent the diseases? The first one is, don't let water collect around your house. Fill up the pits. So why we should not allow the water to collect around your house? It is because the mosquitoes, they lay eggs in the water, and so we should not allow the water to collect in the house, around your house. So next, keep the water pots, coolers, tanks clean. Okay, they should be dried every week. So what you should do, you should keep your tanks, coolers, pots clean. Okay, and they should be dried every week you should dry the tanks. Then put a fish in the pond so that they eat the mosquito larvae. So what you should do, you can put an fish in the uh, ponds so that this fish, they go and eat the mosquito larvae. So what is this mosquito larvae? Mosquito larvae, it is an baby mosquitoes. Okay, it is an baby mosquitoes. You can see in the image here, this is an image of the mosquito larvae. So this mosquito larvae, they do not look like their parents. Okay, they do not look like the parents, but they are entirely different from their mosquitoes. Okay, they are the baby larvae, baby mosquitoes. Larvae means the baby mosquitoes. So use mosquito nets to protect yourself. You can protect yourself by putting in mosquito nets. Okay, you can put an mosquito nets in your house so that you just don't get a bite from the mosquitoes. Then you can spray a kerosene if water has collected at some place. Okay, if you see some water has collected in some place, then you can just put in kerosene oil so that this kills the mosquito larvae. So these are the some of the preventive measures. And this is the mosquito larvae, that is a baby of mosquito. Now we'll study what are the medicines used for malarial disease. From earlier times, the dried and the powdered bark of cinchona tree was used to make a medicine for malaria. Okay, from earlier times, what they used to do, they used to take the bark of cinchona tree. It used to be dried, powdered, and this powder was used as a medicine for the treatment of malarial disease. So people used to boil the bark powder and strained the water and which was given to the patients. And nowadays, a drug named quinine, which is extracted from the bark of cinchona tree, is used to treat a person suffering from malaria. Okay, so this is about the medicine used for malarial disease. Now we will discuss some of the other diseases caused by mosquito bites. So apart from malaria, the dengue and chikungunya are the diseases which caused by the mosquito bites. So we have studied what is malarial disease, how it spreads, what are the preventive measures taken, and also what is the medicine given for the malarial disease. Now we will study about anemia. What is anemia and how we can prevent anemia? Aarti, she says, I also had to get a blood test done, but they took a syringe full of blood. The blood test showed that I had anemia. Okay, Aarti says that even I had done a blood test and they had taken a syringe full of blood, and my blood report showed that I had anemia. So Rajat, when he heard the word anemia, he asked Aarti, "What is that?" Then Aarti explained him, saying, "The doctor said there is a less hemoglobin or iron in the blood, and doctor gave some medicine to give me strength." Okay, so what is anemia? Anemia means the less hemoglobin or the iron content in the blood. And so what did doctor do? Doctor gave her some medicines, and along with that he suggested to eat some of the food like amla, jaggery, green leafy vegetables, because they all contain iron in them. Then Nancy says, "How can there be iron in our blood?" Yes, iron in the blood. How is it possible? Then Rajat laughing says, "So then you ate iron or what?" Okay, you ate iron then. Then Aarti says, "Silly, this is not the iron used to make these keys." Okay, iron is not that one which we use for keys or for constructing the house. I don't know what exactly it was. After I ate a lot of vegetables and whatever the doctor had said, my hemoglobin went up. Okay, so now what is anemia? Anemia is caused due to the less hemoglobin or iron in the blood. Okay, anemia is a condition where there is a less iron content or the hemoglobin in the blood. So what is the normal hemoglobin content? The normal hemoglobin range in blood is about 12 to 16 gram per dl. So how we can prevent the anemia? So anemia can be cured or prevented by eating the foodstuffs which are rich in iron. Okay, you can prevent or you can cure the anemia by eating the food which contains iron in them. So we should eat jaggery, amla, and more green leafy vegetables because they are rich in iron. Okay, if you eat the food which are rich in iron, you can prevent the anemia and also you can cure the anemia. So anemia is common in a Delhi school. So it's a newspaper report. Okay, 17 November 2007, thousands of children studying in the municipal corporation schools in Delhi, they suffer from the anemia. Okay, this is a study report shows that there are about thousands of children studying in the schools were suffering from an anemia. This is affecting both their physical as well as mental health. Okay, this anemia also affect the mental health. Due to anemia, children they cannot grow properly. Okay, they do not grow properly and their energy levels will be too low. they also affect the ability to study properly. Now, health checkups are being done in the schools and the health cards are being made for all the children. Anemic children are also being given iron tablets. Okay, there are also iron tablets. So this is all about the treat for mosquitoes. Okay, in this chapter we have studied about the what is malarial disease, how it is caused, the prevention, and also the medicines for the malarial disease. And also we have studied about the anemia, how it is caused, and how we can prevent the anemia. So hope you have understood this. Thank you.